And we are live. Bravo. How are you?
Actually, I've never been live on YouTube before, so I've always been on the other end where I've gone into their live streams and given some comments here and there and done some stuff. But this is new for us since we're a podcast, technically.
Well, technically we are, and technically this will be recorded, and we'll go ahead and get this up as a podcast. So, we wanted to do this tonight, a little something a little off the cuff because it's hard out there, man. It's just hard. It's
Well,
Wednesday.
tiring.
It's
It's almost
exhausting.
tiring. It's exhausting, tiring. Who knows, right? I mean, that's kind of why we're doing this. We want to just talk about what's going on. We're two average guys and two average Americans. We're patriots. We decided to do a podcast. When did we start this? 2 weeks ago?
I don't know, 3 weeks ago, maybe. I don't know.
3 weeks ago?
10 videos ago.
10 videos ago. And we actually have a small following.
Yes.
And, no offense to YouTube, but we're on Rumble.
Right. And we have one person watching the live stream. We're watching our own podcast. Oh, interesting.
And they went
And they went away. Okay, that's fine. All right, good night. Bye. Anyhow, I'm a little fired up. Bravo. And let me tell you why I'm fired up.
Mm-hmm.
The more I sit there and reflect on Tucker Carlson's interview with Bobulinski,
Mm-hmm.
and the more I watched tonight, the more disgusted I am.
I was not only was I shocked while I was watching. He's a past lieutenant in the Navy, served our country with honor. He was in the intelligence portion, and he was he's an actual.
He was a nuclear officer. He was a
nuclear officer. He wasn't
yeah.
intelligence. I'm sorry, my mistake. I thought it was something else. Anyway, and he has level clearance, and he was actually able to go ahead and he was sought after by Hunter Biden and Hunter Biden's family to be the CEO of his company.
Well, Bobulinski was also an accomplished international businessman, smart guy,
Yep.
Independently wealthy, knows his stuff, and that's why they sought him out. And he was like buddy, and this guy gets involved with something, and the more he gets involved with it, the more disgusted he becomes. Right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Why is nobody paying attention to this story?
I would actually go as far as no one's paying attention to the story because you have a large group of those who are responsible to get the word out, to make sure that it's reported, are suppressing it on purpose.
I think they're all complicit and they're all involved in a way, and it's really disgusting. You look at all this money that the Bidens made over the years through their. The more I hear it, we always knew. We had a hunch that something wasn't right?
Yep.
And now we absolutely know that something's wrong.
Right.
To the tune of millions and tens of millions of dollars or more.
And those who we trusted to do the job of doing Joe Biden, who was supposed to be the vice president.
He just sold his office. That's
sold
all
his office for the highest bidder, and
How long has it been going on? Probably a long time.
Long time.
And
I wonder why he dropped out of the 2016 race.
It
wasn't ready yet, or it was Hillary's turn, right?
Well, maybe it was. I'm afraid of Hillary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, the long and the short of it is this. I mean, this guy's got gazillions of dollars stashed away from all these illicit deals. His kids got gazillions of dollars in cash. And this Bobulinski guy is like, yeah, I can show you where all the bodies are buried. And he does it, essentially. Right. And Joe Biden's filed, put his tax record. He has put his tax records out there. Where's the money, Joe?
Can't find it.
Ooh, can't find it. Where'd it go? I don't know. So say you did a job for somebody there, Bravo, and they 1099 you for a couple of grand, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you forgot about it. And I've done it. You've done it. We've all
Yep.
done it. And you file your taxes, and they're a little late on the draw getting the 1099 in or something like that, and you forget about it or whatever. Something happens. You make a minor mistake, an honest mistake. What does the IRS do?
Oh, they pound on. They give you by mail. They don't call you on the phone.
Right.
They don't send you an email, but they
Nope.
send you a letter,
Yep.
and they say you owe this much with
Correct.
penalties and this. If you feel that you're being wrongly treated or you feel that this is an error, please provide receipts and all kinds of things to the IRS office, and we will review your case when we feel like it.
Right.
And how do I know this? Is because I've had audits before where they it's scary to see them say you owe this much money, and it was a mistake on my part because I'm not an accountant. I like to play
Right.
one on TV, right?
Right.
But they don't let you. They don't leave you alone, and you know.
No, they don't leave you alone. And the point is this. The point is just this. If you or I had tried to hide even $2,000,
Mm-hmm.
we could get hung out to dry, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you've got these people
Mm-hmm.
hiding tens of millions of dollars.
Where do they put it? In their sock drawer?
I have no
Offshore
idea.
accounts?
I have no idea where they do it. They were looting the Ukraine and China and all of these countries, and just using their name, not because they had any special skill, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was just all an influence peddling campaign, and you have a man running for president that is absolutely corrupted.
Right, and beholden to these quote stakeholders. Well, China's a stakeholder, which I
Right.
can't really say, but they're beholden to these stakeholders, and must, you know. And now it makes sense if you look at it retrospectively. You go backwards in time, and you say, why are they saying China's such a great place? Why are they saying that China belongs on the world stage? How come they're allowed to get away with, quote, stealing our secrets and taking all kinds of money from, our jobs, and all kinds of favorable nation status, and now it's all clear because
it was a setup.
It was a setup, or they were paid. They found the weakest link, the person with the less moral code and no scruples whatsoever, and they tapped him on the shoulder and said, I have millions of dollars for you. We can use your son as a donkey, literally, to carry that money into the family. And what do you have? Now you have a corrupt vice president who also just basically took all the money, and he was taken care of. He was the godfather in this whole thing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There you have it.
He's a bought bitch.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's a bought bitch. He's corrupted.
Mm-hmm.
The Chinese own him,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a really big problem. The Chinese own him. The Ukrainians own him. The Romanians own him. Everybody owns him.
And they have him dead to rights. I mean, Bob Alinsky goes on Tucker's show last night, which I watched, was totally amazing. If anyone hasn't had a chance to see it, please go on to YouTube and find it. It's all over the place, and watch the interview. What does this gentleman have to lose? Everything. But he has honor. He has a moral code. And what does he do? He goes out there and says, I gave them a chance to come clean. They're dragging my name through the mud. I've had it. This is not the way it's going to be. And I'm setting the record straight.
Well, it's even better than that.
And how's that, Alf?
Adam Schiff comes out and says, oh, he's just a tool of Russia and it's Russian disinformation. And the only reason why this guy blew the whole thing up was Adam Schiff. Amazing. How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you? If you don't retract your statement by 9 o'clock on Sunday night, Monday morning, I'm blowing everything open. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a document dump. Oh, yeah, he blew him off. Well, guess what? He did it.
Mm-hmm.
He really did it.
Right.
He really did it. Good for him. Yeah. Good for you.
And not only that, if you think about Schiff and Pelosi and all these people that were trying to put the president down, because it was amazing how this has come out, and people are saying, "Well, it's so close to the election. Don't you think maybe that it's a bad thing?" Oh, no, 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 no. It was meant to come out this way, to show the people, because again, the press is not doing their job. There's only a few outlets that really are doing their job, and what ends up happening is the truth comes out. The truth shall set you free, and the press can't stop it, despite Twitter trying to throttle and there was a couple of newspapers, New York Post being one of them, that put this article out there, showed the emails. You got Project Veritas out there
Oh
doing
God, they did
doing
it again
yeoman's work.
today.
Oh yeah, and hold that thought, because that goes along with the other narrative of voter fraud. But looking at the New York Post and how all these emails came out, what ends up happening? We have a story dead to rights, and if it was you or me, Alpha, we would be carried out with handcuffs on, arrested, perp walked, thrown in jail. And I just, and the press is still saying that Biden's ahead in the polls. Explain that one to me, Alpha. I don't get it.
Bravo, it goes back to what I was saying before. Try to cheat $2,000 on your taxes by no fault of your own and watch how much trouble you get into. These people are elected to the highest offices in the land, and they're looting this country and selling all of the influence that they can get their hands on.
Mm-hmm.
It's insanity. It is just crazy.
So what, and it's something else that it's just, if people, if you were to think about, if people turn on the TV, or they choose to watch whatever they're going to watch, and they're not really looking for that inside information. They're not looking for the truth or critically thinking. I think critical thinking is something that is not taught in school on purpose, because you don't want people to question. I think that's one of the other issues. But they do not seek out the different points of view. And what ends up happening is you have channels like CNN, MSNBC. You get into these echo chambers. And some of the things that we've been doing on the Signal 50 podcast is we look for the hard truth. And you and I have spent quite a lot of time. We went to the other side, that I call it the dark side. We looked at Antifa and their manifesto. We listened to their podcast. My jaw fell to the ground. I couldn't take it anymore. And it's a purposeful attempt to take down the United States of America. And people are going to call us conspiracy theorists. I get it, but it's the truth, and that's the way it goes. So
it's insanity what's going on right now. It's just absolutely insanity.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. Jack Dorsey.
Oh, Ted Cruz lit him up. It was great. I don't know if anyone saw that video. That was awesome.
Oh, yeah, well, it was terrible. Just terrible.
I thought it was good from Ted Cruz's point of view to hold him to account, and watching that greedy SOB who's carrying the water for someone, or someone's paying his bills, because he's made a lot of money on that Twitter thing. And he basically is beholden to them, because he wouldn't have pulled this stuff if he had a moral compass, or he wasn't being like a puppet, manhandled like a puppet. I think that's another aspect of this.
It's insane
what
they're doing.
So, in terms of, well, if you were to ask yourself, Alpha, what did you I went to vote today, and it, in the area I'm in, just for our listeners, again, we don't show our faces because we would be canceled in a heartbeat. We provide for our families. We are average Americans who really care about the Constitution, and we can't show our faces because I would be fired from my job.
Well, I would have some problems too, but
Right.
probably lesser to a lesser extent than you. But
Yeah, but in terms of where we work, what we do, we have a pretty extensive background in business and healthcare, respectively.
right.
So, now, in terms of where we fall in this situation, I went to vote today. It was kind of rainy out. I can tell you, literally, the line went around the corner, around the block. It was an hour and a half. It has enough time. I had enough time to listen to Dan Bongino's show.
Well, thank God for Dan. So, well, that was interesting. What was the sensation you're getting from the people in line that you might have been talking to? I mean,
I didn't really talk to anyone because we all, I'm in a blue state. Not to give it away, but I'm in a blue state, and all wearing masks, and the security guards walking up and down the line. You will wear your mask now, kind of thing. We're all 6 feet apart, and no one's really looking very friendly. It really wasn't. It was just, everyone's waiting in this line. It was kind of miserable outside. I've never seen a line that long for a polling place like this. And again, it's early voting where I am. And when I got up to the end of the line, I don't know if anyone's been to Disney World or anything, but it's like getting to the end of the line, the end of the queue, and you're there, and you sign in. I actually showed my license in my areas. There's certain states you don't have to do that. I still do it anyway. I said, "This is me." Signed the iPad. Got my ballot. And it's amazing. They printed the ballot. And I was like, "Is this legit?" But they did. They printed the ballot. I go and fill it out. I went right down the line, right in the same column, Republican, right from the beginning to the end. And the greatest thing of this whole thing was I didn't drop it into a ballot box. I put it into a machine, and I saw it on the screen. It said ballot counted, accepted. I knew that my vote was official. No one else was manhandling it. It's in the machine. It's been counted. I feel good about what's going on, and I've done my civil duty. Remember to take 10 people with you to the polls.
Well, what I did was I had to vote absentee, I had to vote absentee. I'm not going to be here on election day. I'm on travel for business. I'll actually be in the South here, but regardless of that, I got an email saying my vote had been counted as well. So I'm okay with it.
So the whole thing about fraud, and just this kind of leads into fraud, Alpha. I just wanted to bring this up quickly. The way you combat the mail fraud, the way you combat all these things that are going on with us, is you show up, bring 10 friends with you and family members, and you vote in person, and you make sure that thing gets accepted. And I'm sorry, what were you going to say, sir?
Nothing.
Oh yeah.
I think the voter fraud is going to be just it's going to be epic. And you know what? I got to be honest with you. They pulled the same BS last time. There was a lot of voter fraud, especially in Pennsylvania, the Philadelphia area. It didn't make any difference.
Are you talking about 2018 or
2018 was bad. 2016 was bad too. It's not going to make a damn bit of difference. I can't believe any of the polls. I'm having a really hard time believing that Joe Biden is ahead in any poll.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe it. Can't believe it. Nope. The excitement is off the charts for Donald Trump in this go round, and we'll have to see how it goes. I'm really heated up, and I'll tell you why I'm really heated up too. This shooting in Philadelphia is really pissing me off.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I'm really upset that somebody died. I mean, damn, nobody deserves to die.
No, but when you come at him with a knife,
you come at two cops with a knife in your hand, you're going to get your ass lit up.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way it goes. Now let's burn down the city for justice. Now, I guess that makes it okay to go after cops with deadly force. It's not okay. Stop it. It's not okay.
Right.
If somebody comes at you they're within 21 feet of you with a knife in their hand and they intend to do you harm, you're in deep crap. Deep crap. It's going to happen really fast, and knives are horrible. I got news for you. That guy, I hate to say it, didn't deserve to die. Nobody deserves to die. Those cops didn't deserve to be attacked. They had to do what they had to do.
what about the days we're a little bit older? We were in elementary school. We're lifelong friends. We've been in
Yep.
school together. Um, and there was a time when the police we were taught that the police were officer friendly, and you be respectful, and if they tell you to do something, then you do it.
Right.
I'm not sure, and I do not subscribe to why. And let me rephrase that. So I don't subscribe to this social justice nonsense, and I do not subscribe to this systemic racism theory.
Yeah.
And, and just as a clarification, it seems that it's someone's telling these young black kids, white kids to fight the man, and next thing you know, they're not being respectful, and they're not being not following directions, and they think that they can do these things like threaten them and tell them off and use foul language and and do it with impunity. Let me tell you something. They're getting bad advice, bad teaching, and it's not right.
Well, it's not right. It's really a problem.
Mhm.
I don't know. Look, when I was a kid, my dad had a talk with me
Mhm.
when I started driving, and we had the talk in school from driver's ed teachers and from other teachers, and we had the cops come into school, and they were a part of our lives when we were younger.
Mhm.
Lived in a smaller size city, and we knew all the cops. We knew all the cops, and they knew us.
Mhm.
We got pulled over all the time.
Mhm.
All the time. Hey, they pull you over in the middle of the night. You're out driving around with 3 or 4 of your buddies in the car. Where are you going? Shouldn't you be home? I know who your father is. Why don't you get your butt home?
Mhm.
Okay. So, don't tell me it's a color thing. It's a cop thing. Right. And that's okay. The disrespect is tremendous. We had the talk. You're right. Parents, teachers, cops would tell us, "Hey, listen, you're going to get pulled over. Just the way it is. When you get pulled over, you pull to the side of the road. You put your hazard flashers on. You put the interior light on if it's dark outside. You unroll all of the windows on the officer's side so he can see in. You keep your hands where they can see you. It's yes, sir, no, sir." And you move real slow. You tell the officer everything you're doing before you do it, because it just is what it is. Okay.
Mhm.
And somehow we missed all that. We're missing it.
I
It's
I agree. I
you
100%
know,
agree.
and what part of looting the Walmart makes up for a guy attacking 2 cops with a knife that happened to get shot? That sucks.
I I would go one step further. I think it's poor it's poor teaching, poor example setting. They're not learning the proper way to talk to people or how to treat people. I mean, these are things that are foreign to me, and I know it's foreign to you. I would never think of calling someone, half the words that are coming out of these people's mouths. And there's a lack of respect. I'm a firm believer that without any respect for yourself and respect for others, this is where it's going. And now you have Antifa sponsored and BLM Inc. sponsored riots, and people just going out there and being hoodlums and feeling that things are owed to them because everyone is treating them badly. And these are not these don't fall in line with systemic racism. It's just, the theory is that you're supposed to, the whole system's against everyone, and that's crap. It's baloney. Don't believe it for one second. It's um, important to understand that there's no policy set by the government that says we will discriminate against you because you are of a certain color or a certain persuasion. It's
well,
just it's ridiculous.
Well, the only thing that I see the government doing apparently is if you're a politician, you can do whatever the hell you want to do. But if you're just average working Joe, we are going to put the wood to you and we're going to keep punishing you until you're bankrupt. Okay. So I got some problems here. And this whole Biden thing that's going on right now with the influence peddling and the buying of this, that, and the other thing, and the millions of dollars and the screwing around with, foreign governments and peddling influence and being on the payroll of a hostile foreign power. And you are a hair's breadth away from becoming president of the United States. And you've been a U.S. Senator for 47 years, and you were the vice president for 8 years. Scares the ever-living hell out of me. We're just two regular guys, right?
Yep.
And our listeners, for the most part, I would guarantee you are just like you and I, right? Just regular folk. We go to work every day. We come home at night. We're happy to put food on the table, and we enjoy what little free time and money that we have the way we want to do it. And you get these asshats, pardon the French, get elected. They spend a career in Washington, D.C., making a fortune by hook or by crook, putting it away in foreign bank accounts, undeclared income, money laundering, selling themselves to the highest bidder. The IRS never comes calling. We make a simple mistake on our taxes and we're screwed.
Yep.
So there is a little bit of something to the system is rigged against people, but not in the way that these people think that are out there burning things down in the street. If you want to burn some shit down in the street, pardon my French, this is going to be a little salty. If you want to burn some stuff down in the street, what is going on with Joe Biden and Spygate and all of this crap that these government elites have pulled over the last 8 to 12 years is reason enough to really lose your mind. I'm not advocating violence. We don't do that.
Correct.
But that is justification in my mind to be really pissed.
And the only way to remedy that is to make sure we vote and get out there and vote. And don't sit this one out. Don't listen to the hype. And don't listen to the polls either, because the polls aren't, they're gaslighting everywhere. And the press needs to be held to account. There's really got to be an adjustment in the way the press is working out in terms of this 24-hour news cycle and the amount of nonsense they're spewing out. Facebook and Twitter and everything. I mean, it's just I got rid of my Twitter account. I got rid of Facebook, and I went to Parler because I'm not getting throttled, and my information is not being throttled, and I kind of like it.
Well, I think the days of the Bravo. I think you're onto something, but let's take it a step further. I think we should really take it a step further. I think the days of organized mainstream media are over.
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah.
They have proven themselves to be nothing more than a propaganda arm for the Democrat Party or the Chinese Communist Party for a very, very long time.
Yep.
It's really sick and disgusting. You have people out there like you and me, but, much more professional, much more well put together, that really know what they're doing. And we're just a couple of guys that decided on a Wednesday afternoon to do a podcast, okay? We don't know anything. These people make it their living to be citizen journalists. And they are reporting the tough stories and the stuff that's really impactful out there. The mainstream ABC, CBS, NBC, MSDNC, and CNBC, and all these high-end CNN and these high-end companies, Al Jazeera amongst them, all of them. They're not reporting on the news. They're not reporting on things that impact your life other than what's in the Democrat narrative. Like the only two news outlets out there that are decent are One America News and Newsmax. Okay. They're both pretty good. Fox News is
I don't know. They're kind of losing it.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not great. Okay, you got guys like Tucker. He's awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
You got Judge Janine Pirro. Tells it like it is. These are opinion people, though. These aren't
Mm-hmm.
hard news people. We don't have hard news people anymore in this country.
I will say though, there is, and again, we're doing this as observers, citizen reporters. I guess I don't. Don't call me a journalist. Commentators.
We're
right.
commentators. We
Right.
don't report on we report on things that are out there, and we talk about things that are out there. We have commentary on maybe things that aren't in the mainstream news that should be.
Mm-hmm.
We try to bring that out more, to
Right.
give it a voice.
From our point of view, to average guys, again, we're not putting ourselves out there. We're not doing this for anything else, but to just make sure that we get out there, get the information out, so you can decide. And we do this because we want to make sure that we are exercising our First Amendment rights.
Well, I'll tell you why I do it.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Yeah.
I'm sick of the bull.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely tired of being spoon-fed a narrative from the mainstream media. I'm absolutely tired of listening to people that listen to the mainstream media and they don't really gather news from any other source. You cannot believe the number of people that actually believe that bullshit story that Russia was on Trump's side and helped get him elected. To this day, it's been disproven a zillion different ways from Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a bigger problem here.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, we would not have a guy running for president with the baggage that this guy apparently has if we had a real media in this country. Number one. Number two, if we had a Justice Department and an FBI that was worth a shit, this wouldn't be happening.
Yeah, I agree. But it's also a perception on the part of the people that are watching this or consuming it. And perception is one person's own truth, or the way they see things through their own eyes. And you can try to convince someone till they're blue in the face. Like, let's say they think the sky's purple, and that's their perception. They look up in the sky and they say, "Hey, the sky's purple." And then you say, "Hey, really it's blue." I mean, if you think about it, and the wavelengths of the light, you try to use all these facts to say that, hey, the sky's blue. People are going to say, nope, the sky's purple. You can't change their mind. Perception is based upon the way they see the world. They, meaning the other people that cannot be changed, their minds can't be changed, or they're not willing to have their minds changed.
Well, and another thing I'm going to add to that also, you can't change somebody's mind who's been gaslit, and they believe it. The gaslighting is I've never seen anything like it before in my life.
So it also shows that information is still one way, and we got together and we like I said, we would be on the telephone talking about what's going on in the world, and we would sit there and talk amongst ourselves. And we said to ourselves, if anyone wants to listen to us, great. If it doesn't, we're not doing this for the money. We're doing this to help kind of be observers, and do our patriotic duty to get the word out and let the people that hear us decide. And our podcast is growing slowly, but it's growing.
Right.
And we have videos that kind of mirror that discussion that we have about the certain things that we're seeing, and it's doing more than I ever thought, and it's pleasantly surprising.
Well, it really is surprising when you start looking at the numbers of people that are actually taking the time to listen to us, and I think it's great. The problem is, again, you have people that are listening to like the Rachel Maddows of the world, Adam Schiff, all of these people.
Who's a congressman, by the way.
Oh yeah, he's a congressman. He's terrible. He's a horrible human being.
Yep.
He's probably dirty and disgusting and filthy swamp creature, just like Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
And Nancy Pelosi, she's the worst of the worst. Any idiot that would tear up the State of the Union address to make a show of things is a classless piece of trash, and she needs to be gone.
Yep.
You don't do that. Okay. And everybody wonders, well, Trump is, cheaping the narrative. It made it hostile. There is nothing more hostile than a Democrat leader of the Congress that tears up the State of the Union address in front of God and everybody.
And to add to that, not only did she tear up the State of the Union address, she has been vile, disrespectful, and untruthful, and has not done anything for the people in her district, let alone the rest of the country, because she runs the agenda in the House of Representatives. She sets what gets voted on. She will allow something to get brought to the floor. Meanwhile, this coof pandemic that's been going on way too long. We're in what day now of flattening the curve? Someone help me out here. How long?
Oh yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute.
But she is not putting out anything. There's a bill that's like sitting in the House of Representatives right now that needs to be passed so that people can continue to get the PPP funds that they need so that they can keep their businesses alive. Because what this is looking like right now is something that is, I can't believe it's happening in this country. We can get into that now or later. It's up to you. But, we talk about this on our podcast all the time. This pandemic, okay, enough already. Okay, enough. It's is the economy worth it? When are we as people allowed to assess the risk and make decisions for ourselves about how much risk we're willing to take? Why does it have to be dictated to us by some bureaucrat?
Good question.
I wonder.
That's a really good question. And everybody needs to understand something. I may be conservative, right? I'm conservative, but I'm very much libertarian. Okay, you go do you, I'll do me, and if we have a disagreement about how we're doing something, then we're going to have to discuss it and talk about it and work it out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Here's the problem. It seems to me that government has become something it was never meant to be. It's gotten too big. It's too powerful. It's all encompassing, all engrossing. The government, these public servants forget that they're public servants, especially the Democrats. They use their offices to line their pockets to get wealthy as hell. And then they try to run your life and tell you what's best for you. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember back a long time ago when we sent the greatest breakup letter to King George that was ever written. We're heading there again.
Mm-hmm.
They put a tax on our breakfast beverage and we shot them in the face.
Mm-hmm.
It's a true story. Right?
I know. That's why I'm laughing.
What happened to the rugged individualism of this country and being proud to be an individual, to have the God-given rights, not the government-given rights, the God-given right? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, freedom of speech, freedom of religion, bear arms, protect your family. You can vote. You can do all these great things. Those are God-given rights to choose your destiny. These people are trying to choose it for you. It's disgusting.
And tell you how to live and tell you how to act and tell you all kinds of things that just go against every fiber of my being. And I refuse to allow it to happen anymore. And it even comes down to the fact that when you have convenience of certain people who wear the mask or don't wear the mask or do this, oh my God, the numbers are coming up. They tell you half a story. It doesn't make any sense. We can go on and on all night. All I can tell you is we this election that's going on right now is also a referendum to government overall. It's not just about the president. It's about how do you feel about certain people deciding to run your life, tell you how to act, tell you how to breathe, tell you how to move, tell you when you can come out of your house, versus the few people that have been on your side, allowing you to make those decisions and allowing you to the pursuit of happiness in life and liberty. And that to me is where this is all going.
Well, this is tyranny. Period.
Mhm.
Full stop. I mean, this
Yep.
is just tyranny. This was an experiment launched by the Democrats and the Chinese Communist Party to see how easy it would be to control a population the size of the United States. And I would have to say it's been a fairly successful adventure for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we've talked about it on our podcast.
I'm just concerned
Right.
about. I'm just concerned as a law-abiding human being. I'm just concerned. Where's the breaking point?
Now,
That's scary. Well, we're getting there.
right?
That's the really scary part of the whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
At what point do the patriots in this country push back, and how do they do that?
Mm-hmm.
That's a scary thought.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look, we could drone on about this all night long. We thought we'd just get on here, jump on live a little bit, and rant a little bit. So totally unscripted. There's no agenda here.
Mm-hmm.
Just things that we want to talk about, things that were on my mind
Mm-hmm.
and Bravo's mind. Look, we're Americans. We've been through a lot. We come together in the tough times. We've survived worse. Everybody thinks that Donald Trump being president, a lot of people think that it's the end of the world and that's the narrative that's being pushed. No, that's absolutely wrong. We survived 2 world wars. We survived a civil war. We survived a revolutionary war, and we won that one. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
We can survive anything if we just stop being Republicans and Democrats and partisans, and we just start thinking of ourselves as Americans of the same heritage. We came here to be free, to live our lives with the least amount of governmental tampering and interference possible. And all we have to do is learn to be respectful of one another, respect everybody's views, and not get violent about it. And use some damn common sense.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go after cops with knives. You're probably going to get shot.
I think you give up your rights to living if you go after a cop with ill intent.
Well, I think that you give up your right to life when you go after anybody and you try to harm them.
Right.
Just the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
You stop being a human being and you start being a piece of meat when you intend harm on somebody to kill them, and that's just the way it is. So look, and that being said, I'm done. I got nothing else. I'm just mad.
Well, I can offer you this. With the confirmation of Justice Amy Coney Barrett now going on to the bench. If you listen again, press has one narrative. It's the end of your health care. It's the end of this.
Oh, they're gonna impeach her already.
They're gonna impeach her. All right, look, you can try. You're not going to get anywhere with it. That's number one, because you need the Senate to vote her out, which is not going to happen. But I can tell you this: it's the beginning. I was watching Dr. Steve Turley. He was talking about how this is a new age of conservatism, and what we see now is the court back in the 50s. That was the last time it was a conservative court. Or meaning justices that interpreted the Constitution as written, where you now have
that would be called originalism.
That's correct. And then it was hijacked, and then you started getting precedents set by decisions like Roe versus Wade, Um, you had precedent set, numbers of people that should get a job because of the color of their skin or whatever. These precedents just start coming down, and just it was lawmaking from the bench, and that age is finally over, and we can now finally take a breath and say, except if we don't we don't keep the Senate, and we don't keep President Trump in the White House, you're going to see a bunch of court packing nonsense and a whole bunch of other garbage because they want to undo it. We have taken away their avenue to be able to run their agenda because they can't get it voted in because no one wants it.
Well, their policies are so crazy and so far wacko, they can't get anything through the government, but they do get it through the courts.
Mm-hmm.
It's over. It's over. And anybody that doubts that Donald Trump is a true conservative, look at the number of judges he has put on the bench. Over 300 conservative judges, originalists.
Right. Originalists, and not just the Supreme Court that now has 3 Trump appointed justices.
Oh, the Ninth Circus is flipped.
Right. It's not a circus anymore. It's a real court.
Right. And it's just unbelievable. Well, look, I guess there are a couple of things out there we can hold out hope for everything to turn out well, and I think things will. Then again, we'll have to see. I've got a friend of mine who lives out in California, out in Beverly Hills. That's where he landed, and he's done very well in business. He just sent me a text, and they're actually bracing for some serious problems in Beverly Hills. He's a business owner on Rodeo Drive, believe it or not. Pretty famous guy out there. They're boarding up. They're getting ready for riots. They got some big ass problems out there, and I just want that shit to stop. It's enough already. It's destructive. It serves no good purpose.
No, and again, when will the people that are living in these areas turn to the city hall and say, "Stop this from happening"? Or maybe the president will start federally deputizing the police so that they can do their jobs and stop this from happening. I think that's probably one of the better solutions in quelling this violence. Not sending in, not using the Insurrection Act and sending in military forces into cities, but deputize police. Give them federal power, and tell them to knock this crap off. And I got to tell you, that not that there's an election anymore, because we're right in the middle of it. But I don't know. It's there's a lot of uncertainty.
Well,
and
there's a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
And the part that really scares me the most, and everybody should be afraid of this, okay? There's a lot of people out there that think a little bit more like we do than everybody wants to imagine. There's a lot of people out there that have had enough of this crap. There's a lot of people out there that are military veterans that have actually done violence. They don't want to do violence. They've seen it. But I'll tell you what, if this crap continues and these people are threatened enough and their cities are threatened enough, I'm really worried about what they can do. Nobody wants to see that.
Right.
Because the police, if they were smart, they'd be like, yeah, we're going home now. We're going to sit this out, and we'll come clean this shit up tomorrow morning. Right? It would be over so fast, and it would be horrible. Nobody wants to see it. Everybody better put on their thinking caps and really knock this crap off, or that could be a possibility. There are militias forming all over the country, and I'm not saying I'm for or against it. I'm just saying Americans are going to American, and Americans are fighters. We're fighters. We were born to fight. We fought. We fight every chance we get. Every foreign country in the world that we go to, they're like, oh, Jesus, Americans, they like to fight. Yes, we do. We like to fight. We were born to fight. We were born for the fight. And if you stimulate us the wrong way, you're going to get that fight. Nobody wants that fight.
Right.
So everybody better just take a deep breath, calm
Mhm.
down before this crap gets out of hand and you start something you can't finish.
Um, we'll have to see. I mean, I'm seeing again the lines for elections, the amount of enthusiasm that's for the president. You have, you know, it's amazing how Biden put a lid on his campaign again. And how many days are we? 6 days away,
Yeah.
and he's not doing any campaigning. Um, or I guess the real reason, in my opinion, is this: you have people that are lining up the streets outside of his gathering of 2 people or 3 people, and they're all waving Trump signs and they're honking their horns, and you have Joe Biden calling uh, a majority of the people chumps, and that goes along with deplorables from Hillary and Obama, who told everyone in the middle of the country, flyover country, hold on to their
Yeah,
guns
you're
and their
bitter.
Bibles.
You're bitterly clinging to your guns and Bibles. You know what? Look, he set the tone for this crap
Hmm.
many years ago. And Donald Trump, he's no angel, right? The
Right.
guy gets in there and they attack him from day one. What's a guy like Trump going to do? He's not going to lay down and take it. I don't want a president that's going to lay down and get run over in the middle of the street. I want a guy that stands up and says, you know what, enough of this shit.
Hmm.
You're not going to treat me like that. There's no reason to treat me like that. And you've been a scumbag for 47 years. And you over here, you've been a career politician. You've done squat. You've done nothing except run your gums. And you're an amateur. And he was absolutely right.
Hmm.
And you know what? Everyone says, oh, he's mean. He tweets mean things. You know what? Shut up. Grow a backbone.
If the shoe
You've been
fits, wear it.
You've been
I
lied.
mean,
You've been
yeah,
lied to for the last 8 years before this president. Absolutely, just gaslit into
exactly.
into believing it. So, I'm getting heated. I got to go to bed.
Well,
Well,
I'd like to thank those who joined us on YouTube here. This is a
yeah,
first for us. We appreciate it. You can also find us on Parlor. We're at Signal 15 Podcast. I'm at Bravo Golf 5902, and Alpha Sierra 288 is my co-host. We are two average Americans, not wanting any notoriety. We just want to get the word out and say, hey, we all can think for ourselves. If Alpha and I can do this, you can definitely do this and be part of the conversation. Sit at the table and have a rational discussion and make up your own minds. And that's what we do. We have a podcast that is on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Rumble. We're on Rumble. Our videos are over there also.
right.
We don't see any comments flowing in. We don't do this for the money. We're just doing this to get the word out because we're very happy and proud to be part of this country. We've served
That's right.
as public service members, as volunteers. We have seen things that we don't really like to talk about, but we do want to get the word out that America is a great place. We're proud to be here, and we're not going to sit down and take it when people start gaslighting and telling lies about what's happening in this country.
That's right. I mean, there are some really good people in this country, and I got to be honest with you, from both sides of the aisle, there are good people
Hmm.
to be found everywhere.
Yep.
And what's really disgusting is the good and reasonable voices are getting squashed by the unreasonable. And I really miss the days of having a candidate on the other side of the aisle that I could look at their platform, I could listen to what they were saying and say, I get it. I get where you're coming from. I don't agree with the nuance, and I don't agree with everything that you're saying. There are some elements of reasonable in there, but we're so far past that. We are so far past reasonable. It's disgusting. And
Hmm.
I don't think that Donald Trump has been a very reasonable president.
Hmm.
He's not done anything crazy. He
Nope.
hasn't given $152 billion to Iran. Has he?
No.
That was pretty crazy. And on that note, I'm going to let it go and I'm going to say goodnight. Please join us over on Parler and catch us on Rumble. Appreciate it. And visit our affiliate, POF USA, POF-USA.com, makers of the finest AR-15 style rifles anywhere in the world. I'd put them up against an HK-416, and that's no faint praise. Go over POF-USA.com, made in America, for Americans, by Americans, for patriots, by patriots, always. Thanks a lot for joining us. I appreciate it. On behalf of Bravo and myself, get out there and exercise your constitutional right to vote. Exercise the franchise. Get out there and go vote your conscience. We hope it's Republican, but if it isn't, you know what? Fair enough. Go out there and vote.
Take care, everyone. Have a great
Take
night.
care. Bye-bye.